We're getting ready to go on the safari. Wow. Alright, so this is my first time on this one as well. I'm so excited. We're going on the safari here at Animal Kingdom. This is very cool. So we're in the Fast Pass line. We got a Fast Pass for this. So definitely excited. Oh, we're getting ready. We're getting down there. Wow, look at that. We're getting close.
To ensure a safe and pleasant trip, you should be in good health and free from high blood pressure,
Okay, we're on the safari. So excited.
Tessa and I'll be your safari guide today through the Harambe Wildlife Resort. If you guys look right above your head up there is an animal spotting guide that will help you identify some of the animals we might see out there on the resort today. Now, as you can tell, it's starting to get a little bit darker outside, so this is essentially going to turn into a nighttime safari. So let's get started. Now we're going to start off into the Little Aturi Forest first. So the animals in the forest have really good camouflage. They're also kind of shy, so they're a little bit harder to spot typically. Now take a look to the right over there at the bottom of the hill, walking towards the left. It is called an okapi. Now the okapi has striped hind legs that look like zebra stripes almost, but they're actually the most known relative to the giraffe. So they have similar skull structures to the giraffe, and they both have long prehensile tongues that help them reach high into the trees to grasp the leaves that they eat. Now the okapi is a very shy animal, so shy that they weren't discussed on their legs. So they are used as a form of camouflage here in the forest. Therefore, they are very good at hiding around these parts. But let's see what other animals we can spot around here. So a lot of the animals here in the forest do tend to blend in very well with their surroundings, especially with the trees and the mud walls along the outskirts, and they also like to hide out in the bushes as well. So try to keep your eyes peeled all around those areas for any sudden movements there may be. Now to the right here, we'll be seeing a greater kudu, it looks like at the bottom of the shoulder, and weigh up to 750 pounds. Now this one is a female, and I can tell because only the males in the greater kudu family will looks like, oh, two more actually, two more females. Very cool. Now we're off to a very good start here so far, and we're going to be heading towards the second part of the reserve. It's called the Sapi River. Now animals of the Sapi River can be found submerged inside the water or just next to the water, keeping their skin cool from the sun and the heat. So we definitely need to keep our eyes peeled around these parts as well. Especially with the heat today, most of the animals will probably be hanging out inside the water trying their best to keep their bodies cool. Now I will say that we usually have the best hill here just around the river bend, as Pocahontas would say. We'll go check it out, see what there is to spot. Well, it looks like there's a group of hippos here to the left. Lunch there. Now a group of hippos is called a bloat. Now the Nile hippopotamus can weigh up to 5,500 pounds. Very large animals. Now typically during the daytime they'll be seen just like these guys are with their bodies in the water, keeping cool. But at nighttime is when they're usually found on land. That's when they're known to graze the most. But when they're in the water like this, they can actually hold their breath for up to 8 minutes at a time, which is really impressive. And these really large white birds on this island by these hippos here are called the pink-backed pelicans. They get their names from turning pinker during mating season. Now their wingspan is about 7 to 9 feet in length, and to put that into pelicans, now to the left here is a float of Nile crocodiles. Super large crocs, so they can grow up to 16 to 20 feet in length and weigh an average of 500 pounds. Now their diet mainly consists of fish, but they're also known to eat bigger animals like zebras and wildebeest, especially if you do the math, that is about 250 pounds in a single feeding, which is really impressive, but also an experience that they made a story out of it through the movie The Lion King. So as we're moving along the reserve here, especially through the savannah, I want you guys to pay attention to how everything looks. It all looks very similar to the new movie that came out in July, so we're all very excited about it. A tower is a group of giraffes. You can probably guess why they're called that. They're super tall and they will tower over you. Now we're probably going to get a little bit closer up to them as we're moving along the savannah here, but also a little bit closer up are these animals with the really big, thick white horns. These are called the Ankole cattle, also known as the Watusi cattle, after the first people in Africa that domesticated them. Now their horns can grow up to 5 feet in length. So they have a honeycomb structure on the inside of those horns that blood will kind of in the middle of the grassy area there. I think there might be a second one walking around there too. Now, a lot of people think scavenger when they think hyena, but they do hunt for most of their food. So female hyenas usually do most of that hunting, while the males will usually get the scraps of what the females will leave them. So that is where that misconstrued idea comes from, that they are scavengers. Now the females will do most of that hyena days. Their hyena day is their family name. Now a group of hyenas though is called a clan. So tiny clan of hyenas there. Now when hyenas eat their prey, they don't leave anything behind. They'll even eat the bones of their prey too. So they have to have very strong teeth and very strong jaws to be able to do that. Now on both sides here, we'll be seeing some animals that play a very big part in the movie The Lion King. So the white-bearded wildebeest, very migratory animals. A baby wildebeest will be up and running within the first 15 minutes of their life so that they won't get left behind by their herd. So not just have been walking, up and running. It's pretty crazy. Now another name for a wildebeest is a gnu, spelled G. They can stand at about 18 to 20 feet tall and will be born at about 6 feet tall on average at birth. So although those babies are going to look very small to us from over here, I can guarantee you they're a lot taller than all of us here in this truck, since they were born at about that 6 feet. They do grow very quickly right after birth. Now all of these giraffes here are Maasai giraffes. And I can tell by the rough, kind of irregular pattern on all of their coats. As opposed to the reticulated giraffe, they have more of a rounder and sort of a smoother coat pattern. Reticulated giraffes are typically a little bit larger in size than Maasai giraffes. So they have really long tongues that help them with all their eating. It's about 1.5 feet in length. Kind of has a bird, or maybe on our right up ahead here as well. Very cool. Now also, you might be able to see these very tiny tan antelopes hanging out with these. Action, when they do that together, is called pronking, and they usually do that whenever they are frightened. So it'll kind of work to their advantage, because sometimes it will freak out their predators when they're being chased, because it looks so funny. The cheetah. And on our right side here is the youngest of the bunch. She looks the shortest. Now she's also hanging out by these orange to them together, which is really good news for us, like we've seen for the most part. Now if you look at the top of the hill here, you'll see these two really big, thick, funny looking trees on either side that don't have leaves on them. These are called baobab trees, also known as the upside down tree. So if you notice, the branches kind of look like roots. So it looks like these trees are upside down. Now they can hold up to 10,000 gallons of water full grown and go up to 9 months leafless to preserve all that water. Now also flapping his ears. Now they are the largest land animals in the world. They can weigh up to 13,000 pounds. It's crazy. Now elephants do flap their ears to cool their bodies down. So they can decrease their body temperature as much as 15 degrees just by flapping those big ears of theirs themselves, or with a looser group of 1 or 2 other males nearby. So sometimes. Now just around the corner here on this Mickey-shaped island are the greater flamingos. They are the lightest shade of pink in the flamingo species and also the largest. So they can stand at about 3 to 5 feet tall and weigh a whopping 9 pounds. Now they're actually born gray, but they are called bontabucks. They're also known as patchwork buck for the contrast on their coats that you can see there. Now bontabucks have a really cool story behind them that I want to share with you guys. So at one point in time, there were less than 20. Looking over to the left, especially up on the hillsides, those are the fastest land animals in the world. They can run up to 70 miles per hour. Now, they have really good eyesight, so they kind of have a black teardrop that surrounds their eye that will kind of like reflect the sunlight when they're hunting in the daytime. Now, look to the left here, you'll be able to see at the very edge of the rocks down by this bush, there is a male lion. Oh, he just moved his head over here so we can kind of see his face there. He's sleeping there, doing what lions do best during the daytime. Now, only the males will have that gorgeous lion's mane like he. They're most active at nighttime. That's when they do most of their hunting. Now, you see a female laying there right next to him there. The females usually do most of the hunting at night, while the males will stay back to protect their group, which is called their pride. Now, during the daytime, lions have about the same eyesight ability as us humans. But at nighttime, their eyesight will grow 6 times greater than ours. That's why they're pretty successful at hunting at night. They also have very padded paws that help them move very quickly and silently up on their prey as well. So that night vision and those padded paws really do work to their advantage when they're hunting at night. Now, if any of these lions were to start roaring right now, a lot of the guests here in the park that weren't even on their ride could probably hear them, because their roars are so powerful they can be heard up to 5 miles away. Pretty impressive. Oh, there's a... So we're seeing a small group of lions here. 3 lions, I'd say, makes up a small pride. Now, since we didn't know the largest birds in the world, their chicks will hatch at about the same size as an adult chicken. That's how large they are. It's pretty crazy. And they do grow a lot. They're omnivores, which I think is kind of interesting. So they don't have teeth in their mouths, so they have to pick up rocks and pebbles with their food to help them chew their food that they need to digest. They also have a second stomach. It's called a gizzard, and that is where all those rocks and those pebbles will go to instead of their regular stomach. Now we're entering into the very final western lowland gorillas, zebras, hippos, snake and mole rats, meerkats, birds, and fish. It's all at your own pace, so you can sit there and admire the animals.